What's up, everybody? Baseborn here for Green Potion Studios. For those of you who have not been following along or are new to the channel, I'd just like to give a quick background. When Scholar of the First Sin was announced, I made the decision to do a Let's Play of the game, and purposely avoided reading any information on the changes to keep things as genuine and to really just give my first impression of all the changes as I played through. So far, things have been pretty good. At the end of my last video, I reached the Ruin Sentinels, and decided it would be fun to do a sort of PvP special for the next video, episode 11, because 1, I love the PvP in this game, 2, most of our subscribers up to this point are here to watch the PvP videos, and 3, the Belfry Luna is quite possibly my favorite place to hang around. Low-level PvP is, to me at least, some of the purest fighting you can have in this game. And with the addition of the Agape Ring, you can enjoy it endlessly. One of the downsides to the Belfries that a lot of people complain about is the high possibility of being ganked, especially if you aren't quick about dispatching Greys as they invade. I'm not a fan of the practice myself, and quite often when I'm an invader and someone is already there, I patiently wait for a winner, and if the host survives, I give them the opportunity to heal. I realize not everyone will play this way, and I've been on both sides of it. This is just the nature of the place, and if I find myself fighting solo in a 1 vs 2 or even a 1 vs 3, I enjoy the challenge. Of course, if you're having trouble dealing with this, there's almost always someone who has their sign down, usually near the front entrance, that you can call in to fight alongside you. So what's the problem? Why is this video titled From Software? Please fix this. Well, upon entering the Belfry Luna for the first time on Scholar of the First Sin, I noticed a small white sign underneath the stairs. I thought nothing of it as I walked past because it's pretty commonplace for people to drop their sign. I had already joined the Belfry Covenant and shortly after started getting pulled into other people's worlds as an invader. Surprise, surprise, I was pulled into a 2v1 and the host and his phantom friend went to town on me. No biggie. This is normal for the Belfry, and chaos is expected. What I didn't realize until after the fight was that the Phantom was in fact an NPC. Needless to say, I was a bit shocked by this because there had never been an NPC summon in the Belfry before. Some of you may disagree with me on this, but at this point in the game, I see this as the absolute worst thing From has changed up to this point. As for the other areas, like No Man's Wharf, I mean, there were improvements. They didn't change too much, but they rearranged the setting a little bit, and they made it a little more manageable. A little less ridiculous in some places, and a little more fair, I guess I'll say. But anyway, going back to the Belfry Luna, my issue is Masterless Glencower. The fact that they put him in there encourages people to gank. People already had the option to gank. They could have summoned a regular person in right from the get-go, and they can go up the stairs and they can wait for in the usual spots where a Grey will summon in, and they can just jump him right there. That's to be expected. The thing of that is when you're playing up against 2 regular players, or even 3, you still kind of stand some level of a chance because they're just like you. They can only get up to plus 10. They only have, say, I mean, in this case, it's going to be low level, so they're only going to have maybe like 13 to 1500 health, or they're going to be lacking in some area. They're not going to have high defense. They're not going to have heavy armor. You're not going to run into a Havel Mage in the Belfry Luna. The thing about Glencower is, he is a beast when you compare him to basically anyone. I had this one in particular. I had this one fight where there were a couple of Greys that had gotten summoned in, and the person was playing with Master Glencower, or excuse me, Masterless Glencower. And in this case, it seemed okay. It wasn't that big of a deal because there was 3 Greys versus 1 player and an NPC. But it was in this one that I really got to experience just how wrong Masterless Glencower is. See, the reason this person had to deal with 3 Greys is because they were too slow at killing them. If you have a Grey get summoned in at the Belfry Luna, you have usually about a minute or so that you can fight with them before anyone else will get summoned in. It's usually not that fast, and I've never seen two players get summoned in at the same time. And the thing of it is this is a fair fight because you can have your plus 10 gear, and you can be at, like, say, level 50 or 75 at this point, and you can still fight them on pretty even ground. For me, I wasn't using maxed out gear because I had literally just walked into the Belfry Luna for the first time. My weapon was plus 6, it wasn't end game content or anything like that, so I did expect to be at a disadvantage. What I didn't expect was to hit Masterless Glencower about 40 times without him dying. I literally, while the other two Greys were going after the host, I hung back and I just kept Glencower busy. I backstabbed him, I just slashed at him a few times, and I kept his focus on me. Me doing damage to him was like nothing. I was basically doing almost no damage to him, and if he hit me, he took out about anywhere from a fifth to a quarter of my health, which isn't like crazy, it's not insane by any means, but he was doing some pretty heavy damage when you really think about it, because for most players, it's going to be about 4 or 5 hits at least before they kill you. The other issue for me is I had other people who would have Matchless Glencower be fighting me one-on-one, or, well, 2-on-1, excuse me, and they would run behind him, and they would heal. So I have to deal with, not only do I have to deal with them running away and healing, but I have to deal with them running away and hiding behind what is essentially a mini-boss at that point. It's obnoxious from Software. Please, just take him out of there. Leave it the way it was. It was fine the way it was before. I have no issue. If I run into 3 players and I have to fight them by myself, I am totally down for that. I have no issue with that. And you know why? Because I'm on even ground with them. I stand a much better chance against them. If I run into 2 players and Masterless Glencower, forget about it. I mean, you're not going to survive that. And if you do, you're really good at the game. Congratulations. I am pretty good at this game. For those of you who have been watching the channel, you've seen my PvP videos. You've seen my Belfry Uncut video. And if you haven't, check it out. It's literally 30 minutes of me just completely uncut. I did it on purpose because I wanted to show people that I'm not full of shit, basically. Because what you run into on YouTube a lot is just people winning constantly, and they fade in and fade out from fight to fight, and that's pretty normal because, you don't want to sit there over and over for everyone with these super long videos. You want to cut out the bullshit. You want to cut out the waiting. You want to cut out the loading screens. So it's completely understandable. But a lot of people will hide the fact that they lose, or they'll just show like 1 or 2 here and there. They won't show the whole thing, and they create this image of themselves that they're some godly player when they're average or maybe a little bit above average. And I would say I am above average. I'm not going to go out there and say that I'm like the greatest player ever. I do lose. I even have videos specifically dedicated to my losses. It happens. But this is an issue for me, and I really want to see it changed. I don't believe an NPC belongs in a PvP arena, because that's what this is. This is a PvP arena. And yeah, I know some of you will probably come out with the argument that, well, there's enemies in there, and you can have the enemies fight alongside you, and you're absolutely correct. And that's why I don't go to the Rat Covenant, because it's literally the most bullshit place you can run into. I completely avoid that place because it's just unfair. People just go up on the side of the cliff and they just take out their bow and they wait for someone to be pulled into their world, because it works opposite there. It's like Bizarro world. And they let their monster friends do all the dirty work while they just shoot arrows. It's complete bullshit, and that's why nobody goes there. And I'm kind of hoping they change that in this version of the game. I haven't gotten there yet, so I can't really comment on it much. Not at this point. But as for the Belfry Luna was pretty fair. I mean, those little guys, they're weaklings. They're nothing to worry about. And you can clear them out before anyone even gets into your world to invade you. So for me, the Belfry Luna is as fair as it gets for as fast as it gets. Yes, I know I could go to the blue arena or the red arena, and that is literally one-on-one, always, literally as fair as it gets, beyond all reason, but I enjoy the chaos. I enjoy the fact that sometimes I run into 2 or 3 people. I don't enjoy the fact that I'm running into an NPC that has an ungodly amount of health and does way more damage than anyone else. For a point in the game when you're not technically supposed to have top gear equipment, you're not supposed to have end game equipment maxed out plus 10 on everything with plus 2 and plus 3 rings. I think it goes against the spirit of the game. I think it goes against the spirit of the Belfry Luna. And I really, From Software, please fix this. If you agree with me, hit the like button. If you don't agree with me, hit the dislike button. I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment if you've got some point you want to make, if there's something I didn't mention. I really want to know what you guys think about this one. I hope you've been enjoying my series and my channel, and make sure you check out Frozen Face, all of his stuff, and the stuff we do with Time for Pancakes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for watching the channel, and I hope I see you tomorrow in episode 12. Have a good one, guys.